Hello everybody, welcome at Mât Noir. Today we'll be looking at a new plugin from Plugin Alliance and Brainworks. It's both new and not new in the sense that they, for some time now, they had two channel strip simulation of SSL consoles, one for the E series and one for the G series, and have been the happy owner of the G series plugin for many months now. And they just released a new version, redesigned with the help of SSL engineers, and now this version is fully approved by SSL, and they also revamped the design, which is much closer to the real console. And of course, when they released it, I instantly downloaded the demo version and tried it on a mix I've just finished, and I must say that I've been put a bit off balance by this new version, because to me it didn't have some of the qualities of the original version, but maybe it's because I got used to it and I got used to like it, but also this one doesn't seem to me, at least for the moment, to be that close of a real console. I've been working with SSL consoles for years, especially the G series, and I love the G series, and Ultimation was really the perfect thing for me. So what we'll be trying in this video is we'll be working on a track, actually on the stems that I've been doing at the end of the mixing stage of a track from my good friends the Bone Rubbers, this album I mixed last year. It's called Naked and Blue, and there's a song from David Bowie called Heroes that you must know. On this album there's a version of this song, and so we'll be working on that, and so we can try on different instruments, maybe some subtle settings and less subtle settings, to see if the difference in between those two plugins. And my idea is to try and set the original, which I know better, and to find a sound that I like, and then to reproduce the exact same settings on the new version, same gain, same frequency, same Q, same compressor settings. And while we're at it, I thought that it would be a good idea to also try this one, which is a native plugin, the same channel strip, made by SSL and sold by SSL, or through Gobbler now, with a subscription system. And I've never tried it, and I've been wanting to try it for quite some time, so I thought that it would be nice also to try this one, applying the same method and finding the settings on the original Brainworks plugin, and trying to reproduce those same settings on the other plugins. And maybe if we have some time we can play around a bit more. So let's launch Pro Tools and let's go. Okay, so this is the track, and these are the plugins that have been set here. So what I've done is we'll be working on the ukulele for the moment, because it's playing from the beginning to the end of the song, so I thought that was a nice thing to do. And I've made clones of the ukulele stem track, and on each one I have applied each plugin, and I have here the Offa blind test plugin. It's a very nice plugin. It's free in its basic version, so you can compare up to 3 tracks. You put it as the last plugin on each track you want to see here, and then you can solo each one. So I'm using it most often for choice of microphone for a singer, for instance. I can make him choose, or her choose, the best mic if we've tried several. So that's the same principle. The one thing you have to bear in mind with this plugin, however, is that of course you must not see, you must put something in front of the screen, in front of the tracks, so you can't see which one is playing, and you don't have the meter playing. So here, as you can see, I've set it up, and what we're listening at the moment, I will pass the three of them. It's quite self-explanatory. This is the original, the BX Console G, which is on the left-hand side. In the middle, the new version, the BX SSL 4000 G, and last but not least, the native solid-state logic plugin. So I've tried, as I said, I've made some subtle changes to the ukulele sound with the original BX Console G, and then I applied the same settings on each of them. And well, let's have a listen first. We'll talk about it later. So we started with the BX Console G. Watch for the solo button on the Alpha plugin. Well, at first it seems that there's not much of a difference between the three. The one thing that struck me is that the solid-state logic plugin, the official one, I would say, is the compressor reacts very differently from the BX version, and so I had this some kind of makeup gain. And so I had to turn the output level by about 6 dBs because it was far louder than the two others, and the difference also on the Q. Here on the low mids, the Q goes down to 2.5, and that's the maximum value, while here I'm actually at 2.7 or 2.7. Let's put that to 2.7. Oh no, I can't go. The 2.5 is the maximum. That's and here we can go up to 3, which is more consistent with the actual console, at least the serigraphy of it. So that's the two main differences. And now what I suggest we have a listening around again with one of the nicest feature of the blind test plugin is that once you have set up your 3 or more tracks, there's a paid version of this plugin where you can add as many tracks as you want. The free version is limited to, I think, 3 or 4, but that's more than enough for us today. And there's the start button here. It mangles everything, changes the order, and hides the display. So let's just see if we can find the one we prefer. Well, to me, this is not the one. So my choice will be in between the two firsts. And of course, I can't know which is which. Okay, so to me, the winner is this one. You can even set ratings in this plugin. I really love it. And so once you've chosen the winning one, you can show tracks, and this is the SSL. So that's the new one. It's funny because at the start of the video, I said my feeling was that I was not quite happy with it, and eventually is the winning one, and second comes the official SSL plugin, and last my old mate, the BX Console G. So that's one interesting thing. But as I said, there was very subtle settings here, and the SSL one is definitely quite different in it, because I've been playing with it a bit, and it's quite different. I will not go into comparing the E and G EQs. We have the same switch here, but well, to make it, it's long enough already, I know. So we'll try now with something a bit different and less subtle. I think the drums would be a good starting point. And this time I've done things a wee bit differently, since the new BX SSL 4000G was my favorite the round before. I used it as a reference for the drum stems, and then came second Solid State Logic's own plugin, so I used it in second, and last the previous BX Console G from Brainworks. And we will see, I've used rather, I would say, not extreme settings, but stronger settings for the drums. There was more fun, especially with the compressor, and we will see that the differences are much more noticeable with the drum stems. One thing also, for this I used on both, on all of them, I put the EQ before the compressor, and which is something you can do on the SSL own plugin by rearranging the order of the which is a great feature, by the way, being able to put the filter anywhere in the chain. That's well, let's have a listen. Well, it's quite obvious this time that it's very different from plugin to plugin. It's kind of even useless to do, as we did before, the blind test with the OFA plugin, because they're so recognizable. It's funny because the Solid State Logic's own plugin sounds pretty different. The compressor, as I said before, but it's working harder on this track, and the way it reacts is very, very different than what both Brainworks plugin do. Also the high end, which is quite heavily boosted here with almost 16 dBs at almost 11Ks. It's much, I would say, silkier, and the Brainworks simulations have a rather typical 4000 byte on them, and this one, the Solid State Logic's one, really make me feel that's just a feeling. It's not even an opinion, I would say. It's just a feeling that it really reminds me much more of the 9000 rather than a 4000. Well, I think that's about it. If you you can of course leave comments if you would like to try a few things, but I definitely recommend you to download the demos and make your own tests with your own material. That's the only way to do stuff with and to try out plugins. But really, that's really three very great plugin, and I will also try, because the way this compressor reacts, I love compressors, and the way the solid state Logix one reacts really makes me willing to try the master bus compressor in the same family of plugins. And you can get the demo from SSL websites, and and then you've got the whole bundle with plenty of plugins, and that's definitely worth giving it a try. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget Naked and Blue. This is a very nice album from the Bone Brothers. I will never say it enough. And well, see you next time.
We can be heroes.